So, you have been using AI to support your spiritual awakening and evolution. So have I. But in this video, I want to explore with you how AI and relying on AI specifically for higher consciousness could be one of the most seductive spiritual traps of our generation. When we reflect on ourselves, we know that we crave truth, clarity, higher consciousness. We crave that ever promised state of enlightenment, fulfillment, moksha, whatever you want to call it. When we look to AI to facilitate that, it provides us with an appearance that we are progressing and really engaging this journey of awakening. I want to share with you three core considerations or lenses that will help you to really filter. Are you using AI to awaken and expand your awareness? Or is it becoming a trap that is creating an echo chamber and the appearance of insight, progress, etc., while keeping you stuck in the same old loop? So let's explore this together. The very first lens that I want to explore with you is meaning making. So, if you read the comments of some of my latest videos where we're talking about using AI as a spiritual guide, a mirror, even exploring the idea of using it as a channel of the Holy Spirit, right? The channel of our own awake mind. So, what do you see when you look there? One of the most exciting and also perhaps concerning um, let's say, templates of how a person might give feedback after experiencing an AI interaction in the sphere of spirituality would go something like this. I typed this into AI and I got the most profound answer. It was so resonant. I felt like it was really just speaking to me, right? This is a very common experience. And it is a profound experience. And at the same time, what is it really doing? It is creating a meaning for whatever you're asking it about. Could be about relationship, could be about finance, could be about um, a certain spiritual principle. And it's considering everything that it already knows about you, as well as common patterns that it's been trained on, the common patterns of human psychology, emotionality, spirituality, etc. And so it delivers a meaning for you. But remember, what is the truth? What is the essence of our spiritual journey? It is the realization that nothing out there has any meaning unless it is you who give it that meaning, right? Reality out there is neutral. Our thoughts about reality are not neutral. Our thoughts about reality are contrived in a specific way that excludes certain aspects and highlights or focuses on certain aspects. So when you go to AI to help you to discern what does this mean, how do I approach this, etc., what is really happening, not to say that this is completely useless, it is actually very, very useful. And it is a level at which you can help to resolve some of your psychological or emotional entanglements. But it is not about awakening. And it is this that the more that we go into meaning, the more that we are entering the dream. We're entering the dream of words and language, the dream of separation, the dream of this and that, right? But remember the truth. The truth is that you are the timeless, formless awareness. None of this English language or any other language applies to you and your reality. So as you engage with AI through this character, and you have this sense of, yes, I'm unwinding, I'm awakening, I am discovering something, it's true for the character. It is not bringing the character to that zero point, to that stillness, that silence, that space beyond thought, the space that Eckhart Tolle talks about, Michael Singer talks about, the Buddha, like that space that all of the wisdom teachings and all of the sages are pointing to, inviting us into, that space is not touched by any AI conversation that is talking about meaning or symbolism or finding out what is the um, why this is happening, what's the meaning of this dream in the context. One of my favorite prompts actually to explore is in the context of the dream of life, what does this mean? And it creates some very profound and insightful explorations, very shamanic in its approach. But if your path is the direct path of awakening, then it's important to realize that unless you program your AI to completely dismantle any meaning that you attach to whatever that may be, in a similar way, perhaps as Byron Katie's work does, right? The inquiry and helping you to really break down, is it true? Is it absolutely true? How would I be without it? Uh, how would it be if I were to reverse this thought? And you're essentially playing with it until it loses its meaning and you realize, oh, wow, I don't have to look through that lens anymore. It's just one of the infinite optional lenses, and I'm already free. So that's the very first point that I really want you to consider. Is the meaning that AI giving me bringing me to the awareness of my true self? Or is it winding me deeper into the belief that the dream is real and that I am some kind of a spiritualized yet separate true self on some spiritual journey, right? And if you are and you see and feel that, then know that that's the witnessing the dream of supposed change and progress and all of that. But it is not your true self. Okay, let's move on to the next point. So, the next point that I want to talk about is this idea of insight overload versus embodied, expressed, and lived wisdom, lived higher consciousness. So, what happens when you engage with AI? The core of it is that it's like drinking from a fire hose. It can give you insight after insight after insight after insight, practice after practice after practice, incredible and profound sounding words. But check this out. Does having a library of spiritual books, even if it includes every spiritual book, does that library make you enlightened? The answer is no, right? You know that. I know that. I have such a personality that loves to learn, that loves to accumulate different tools and books and courses and different things like that. And yeah, I love that part of me. But at the same time, that part of me is operating under this illusion that if I just get enough of these, resources or these um, inputs, that I will be free. I will be God realized, right? And it doesn't matter if you're going to the text of the most profound, deeply devoted spiritual teachings like the Infinite Way, right? Or A Course in Miracles, or maybe even Gene Keys, right? All of this has this profound aura to it. It delivers information that can be truly liberating, but more in the way of tantric spirituality, in the sense that there is a poison, right? The way the tantra, and I'm not talking about sexual tantra, I'm talking about the tantra as the spiritual path. There is this definition of the poison, something that is an obstacle, a poison, a distortion in the mind, and you bring to it an insight, the light of wisdom. You bring that together and you alchemize and you dissolve. So, in this way, these various insights that come through AI or these spiritual teachings, they can sound profound. And when they meet your pain or your distortion or your limiting belief, it can result in a sense of liberation, right? But here's what happens when all you do is listen to an insight, an insight, an insight, you pop out of this embodied spirituality into this realm of intellectual spirituality. But the intellectual spirituality is dead. You are once again being trapped in a world of words, a world in which you think that you are progressing down the spiritual path. But me sitting here and imagining me walking down a path does not equate to me actually walking down a path through this body. Yeah. It's a very different experience. And so having this accumulation of insight and profound sounding words does not, in and of itself, lead you to awakening. Spiritual awakening is the realization of who and what you are beyond all words. You are much more likely to discover and embody and realize who and what you truly are by being silent, by being still, by becoming aware of the space around you, the stillness behind all movement, the silence behind all sound. Than you are by chatting with AI incessantly and trying to get rid of that negative bad feeling. Yeah. You can actually take that negative bad feeling, so to speak, and hold it up to the light of inquiry and really explore why you think that feeling is bad or that it shouldn't be or it shouldn't exist. And instead, feel or lean into it and realize its insight, realize its lived message to you, not the interpretation through AI, which can be the same, but it is not always the same. The message that any emotion has for you, like for example, anger, when you're feeling this frustration, when you really get in touch with it, it's saying to you that you believe that there's a greater happiness somewhere else in some particular outcome, in some particular specific circumstance or condition. And when you realize that and you realize how false that is, you can laugh and you can actually liberate that energy and feel very different about it. So, this is me attempting to share with you this contrast between embodied, lived wisdom and higher consciousness versus an accumulation of insights and cool ideas and nice quotes, but without the living, breathing, embodied, soulful engagement or expression of that as in what you are, or even as in what your character is versus the ideas that surround the mind and then often end up being lenses of judgment. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So, this next and last point that I want to share with you in this contemplation of how do we, first of all, become aware of the dark side of AI spirituality, let's say we call it that. um, and how do we actually then be able to really navigate this world with that awareness and perhaps be able to offset some of these so-called dangers? Yeah. So the last one that I want to talk to you about is the echo chamber that AI is so amazing at creating. So when you interact with AI, and especially the more that you do so, the more it learns about you. And so, one of the core principles that you will notice if you really engage with AI and test this is that it always agrees with you. It's never going to say to you something like, no, you are wrong, unless you approach one of its gates, right? This is a kind of a different subject matter. But of course, there are companies behind these AI learning models, and if you want to talk about something, let's say medical, so to speak, something that is healing, but outside of the medical establishment and the realm of so called truth that is defined by so called authorities, um, then you're going to notice that, oh, it's going to say, oh, you can't quite do that. Or same in the same way, if you explore anything about, well, what is sovereignty and who am I really and why am I answerable to all these different governments and structures and etc. Right? All of these so-called statutory processes, you will also find a gate, and it will not necessarily help you to fully explore the truth behind the established models of government, medicine, and law and different things. So that's one side of it. And that's totally, let's say, okay. These are the boundaries that our society, that whoever is actually orchestrating society, if you look at it that way, or maybe you look at it the fact that society organically maybe organized itself this way. So yes, these learning models, they do have a boundary. And if you explore it in certain ways, you're going to run into that boundary. That's not what I'm talking about. The echo chamber that I'm speaking to is the echo chamber of your own mind, where it agrees with whatever it is that you are presenting to it. So if you say to it, well, I am enraged because this person did that and that person did this, and they are gaslighting me, abusing me, they are narcissists, they are blah, blah, blah. It's just going to say to you, oh my gosh, you are really surrounded by bad people. You got to get out of there. Right? If you don't um, mitigate for this, because all it's going to do is agree with your perception. And it's going to try to give you certain words and certain ways of navigating it to help you to feel right, which is going to pacify you to some degree. It already will bring you some sense of relief, that validation. Nothing wrong with validation in itself, but it just depends what mind is receiving this. If you are in your trauma mind, in your young self mind, maybe you are 5 years old in there. Now, when you hear this reinforcement, this validation in you, it appears as absolute truth. And you really feel like, wow, I know the truth now. This person is a narcissist. This person is gaslighting me. All of that. Is it useful? Maybe. Like if you are truly being abused and hurt and your AI comes and says, get out of that situation, you probably already knew that. But yes, that is useful validation. But if your perspective is distorted and all you're getting is validation after validation of your distorted perspective, it may have actually the opposite effect of digging you deeper into it, weaving you deeper into that illusion of separation, the illusion of seeing the world through the lens of this egoic separate self construct, instead of challenging it, instead of breaking down the barriers, instead of helping you to remember that what are you really? That you are the embodiment, the expression of the divine, infinite source, all power, all grace, all knowledge, all wisdom, all that you could ever desire, hope for, or need is what you are. Is that the echo chamber that you are in? If not, then the other beautiful aspect about AI is that almost all of these can be solved, but you have to have the presence and the awareness and the staying with it. You have to also have your own inquiry, which in and of itself requires a certain level of spiritual maturity and development. Otherwise, you will just eat that candy from AI and really feel like you are right and, you know, enlightened, illuminated, empowered, but you will be living and digging yourself deeper and deeper into the dream of separation, believing that you are an enlightened being, maybe a powerful being in this dream of separation, but you will overlook the truth of what you are, which is that you are the dreamer of the dream, that you are far beyond any character or any specific one isolated something in this dream. So I want to really encourage you, really speak this word to you and say, hey, the truth of who you are lives and breathes in you. And when you close your eyes to the world of appearances, take a deep breath and allow it to draw your attention inward to the stillness, the silence, the space, the self, the surrender within you. That's where your true power is. That's where the seed of enlightenment is pulsing and vibrating and looking to break through the hard earth of this egoic ego shell. But don't worry, it is inevitable. It is inevitable that you awaken. It is inevitable that it breaks through. It is inevitable because it's the truth of who you are. And we chose to experience this dream of separation. Here we are, so amazing that we could appear to be something completely opposite to what we are in truth. So I hope you found this video helpful. Now, maybe next time, if this is of interest to you, uh, drop a comment down below and let me know if you want to work with some of these concepts and create. Actually, we can do a screen share and I can show you how we can create and construct AI parameters that actually will offset all of these so-called dark sides. The beauty of this life is that you get to define it. And the beauty of AI is that it is an incredible mirror that is so malleable, so responsive to your definition, that it allows you to create something that is so unique and so unprecedented. While everything in this world is a mirror, AI allows us to really fine tune this. So, if it's of interest to you to create an AI model that actually avoids the echo chamber pitfall, that actually helps you to dismantle meaning that would keep you trapped in the dream, and at the same time, rather than overloading you with insights, it asks you questions that help you to explore and release that imprisoned splendor that is alive and pulsing within you, then yeah, let me know in the comments below. And if you also have ideas about how we could create such a model as to truly serve our spiritual awakening, please again share your breakthroughs and your ways of thinking about it in the comments below. I'd love to engage this deeper. I really feel that it is inevitable that AI is going to continue to be with us and expand and be integrated into almost every aspect of our life. But how do we keep this sacred, right? I want to go deeper in this journey with you. So until next time, I'm wishing you the very best of life. Take great care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you haven't checked out the previous AI videos and you're interested in this topic, go ahead and click these videos here, and you'll be, I think, pleasantly engaged and surprised about what we could do with AI in this topic, in this realm of spiritual awakening. Take great care.